My account went from like $3,200 to like $1,003,200. This is very classic rich people shit. This is not gonna happen to you. Just so you know, because I don't want you thinking that all of a sudden you're gonna wake up one day and be like, oh my God, $1 million. But like, this was always vaguely a possibility in my life.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's like money around.
That is so funny. Like, if you're like a regular white guy, there's there's always like a 3% chance that some grandpa's gonna be like, I found all these bonds.
That's how it goes.
Welcome to another episode of Cash Cuties, a super personal finance podcast where we look at our friends' credit card statements and judge their spending habits with love. I'm your host, FUMI Abe. Steffi is not with me this week. She's traveling and I'm traveling, so we're doing a solo episode, baby. If you're listening to this on your Apple app, please leave a review, hit follow on Spotify, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for the video version of this podcast, which you definitely want to check out. All the links are available in the episode description below. We're going to give a quick shout out to our Dono Daddies. These are people who give us money on Patreon. What is Patreon? It is the best way to support this podcast financially. If you want to support me and Steffi's expensive ass lifestyles, this operation, if you want to see cooler YouTube videos, if you want to see us hire video producer, goddamn, we can't afford them right now, please consider donating to our Patreon. And in return, you get bonus episodes and behind the scenes footage. 2 people donated this week. Shout out to Elizabeth R, $5. Thank you so much. Elizabeth with an S. That's unique, and we love that about you. And Jeremy W, $5. Thank you so much. This week's guest, this guy sitting next to me right now, I've been wanting to have this guy on this podcast ever since I came up with this concept of this show. He's a dear friend. We started stand up together. I actually met him selling tickets on Bleecker Street for stage time. When we were newer comedians, because we were bad and we couldn't get booked, so we had to sell tickets. I don't know if you've been to New York City. There's a lot of people who are like, hey, you want to come see a comedy show? We did that. I met him there, so I've known him for a very, very long time. Our guest today is a stand-up comedian who's been featured on America's Got Talent. You may know him under his internet sensation persona, Mr. Pants, but most importantly, he's someone who was living a normal life. Then one fateful day in 2021, he inherited $1 million, but lost all of it within a year. Here to talk to us about his treacherous financial journey, please welcome to the show, Ryan D.
Hello, everybody. Fumi.
Hello, Ryan. Thanks for doing the pod.
Thank you for having me.
How are you feeling? Are you nervous?
No, because you said that you're auditing with love.
Yes. We are judging with love.
Yes, we're going to need a lot of that.
Before we sort of get into the whole $1 million thing, which, I can't wait to get into, just real quick for the listeners, tell us about your financial background. Did you grow up with money? What did your parents do? What was your thought about money when you were growing up?
Definitely, yeah. Westchester, wealthy neighborhood, wealthy people, miserable people, very rich, miserable people, very consumed with a lot of material items. There were girls in my high school that all got matching cars.
No!
Yeah. So there would be like 5 white cars, and they were all different. There was like an Audi and a Mercedes, and they're 16 years old.
What?
Yeah.
This is some new level. I did not know that.
This exists.
I didn't even know. I knew you lived in a wealthy community, but I didn't know you personally were that in
I didn't either, and this is embarrassing, but no matter what bubble you grow up in, you don't realize there's bubbles outside of that. So even in class, they'd be like, what socioeconomic status do you think you are? And everybody in class is like,
middle class.
Middle class.
Yeah. Even though they got matching Mercedes-Benzes and shit. Damn. What kind of car were you driving?
I drove a Pathfinder that I believe was through maybe my dad's company or something.
Oh,
and it was my sister's car before that. It was kind of passed down through the years.
Wow. Within that community, did you think your family was not as wealthy as some of these girls who were buying the cars?
I don't think it ever really occurred to me. And, my mother was working with handicapped kids. My father was a salesman. So there was nothing in my head that was like, this is, and our house was pretty, moderately sized compared to the Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So no, there was no indicator growing up that we're living in as good as it could be.
Right. Now, Westchester, if you're not familiar, is
the best Chester.
The best Chester. It is upstate New York. I learned what Westchester was when I came to New York to go to college here because a lot of my friends were from West. They ended up growing up in Westchester. In those communities, what are people doing in terms of their jobs? Is it just doctors and lawyers? Is that what it is? Is that simple? Is it finance or is it something else?
It's definitely a lot of that. There is also a sect in the neighborhood of hillbillies.
Really?
Yes, people driving driving quads through forests and this kind of thing. One kid got his street name tattooed across his back like a football jersey.
What was the street name?
Kitchewan.
What is Wait, what is that a reference to? What does that mean?
Kitchewan is a road. It's his road.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought when you said street name, I thought you meant like street name.
No. I mean, in a way.
Wait, that's so funny. It's like everybody else is like Compton, Oakland,
Yeah.
Mark Twain Drive.
Yeah.
And what would you say your financial education level was at that point? Like,
I'd say it is still 0.
so despite
bad.
you having successful parents, they didn't really pass on any knowledge about like, hey, Ryan, you got to really start thinking about
No,
investing.
they did. It just in one ear out the other kind of thing.
Really? Even when
A
you're in
bit.
like college and became an adult?
Yeah, like they were like, you gotta save. This is your savings fund. We are saving. And then the second that I had access to that money, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna buy a plane ticket somewhere.
So you went to Boston College for school.
University.
And then, Boston University. And then you came out to New York to do comedy.
Yes.
What were you doing to support yourself before, when I first met you, up until you inherited this big large sum of money?
I had this writing gig, which was very good money, and I was living at my dad's house, so I had no overhead.
Mm-hmm.
So I was making hand over fist checks for a couple of years.
This is the during the strike.
Joan Rivers, Fashion Police, and the writers were striking on that, and I was 22 years old looking.
How do they find you?
My friends, I mean, some more nepotistic shit. My friend's mother knew a friend at UCLA, and Joan had reached out to the school to find young, aspiring.
It's
writers.
crazy because it's interesting because we're striking right now, and the
Yes.
vibes are very different. I don't think any show is reaching out to be like, hey, can we keep the show going by hiring new writers? No one is doing that.
Yeah, nobody's going on the other
But
side.
that's crazy that was the vibe back then. Like because she had a talk show and she
Yeah.
wanted to keep it going. So because her writers were striking, she was like, let's just go find fucking some bozos.
I know this is wrong, and I know this is maybe this bites you in the ass somewhere. But ultimately, I'm 22. I wanted to break into comedy, and I could write for Joan. I didn't.
Of course.
I could wipe my ass with.
And you weren't even really part of WGA, and
No.
and you don't have a manager.
I don't even know what that is.
So you're making like 3-4K a week or some shit like that.
No.
Oh, because I guess that's the WGA rate, so you're making less.
Yeah, we were making maybe like 800 an episode, and I feel like maybe there was a couple episodes a week. At some point, we were splitting it between a few guys.
And this is why we have unions, okay? Because the studios will fuck you like this, okay?
Well,
800
at the time, man, I'm like 22. I'm like living with my dad. I was like, this is great.
Oh yeah, that's crazy.
It seemed like good money.
Was that fun writing for Joan Rivers?
It was so fun.
I mean, like,
wrote with my two dear friends.
because you had no writing experience before. What was it? Nerve-wracking, or what, I mean, like, what is the vibe in a writing's room that's like a proxy writer's room during a strike? Like,
This was two of my close friends, still are from college.
Yeah.
And we would just hang out and just go through the pictures, and we'd meet up. We'd all write our shit, and then we'd go through it. It was as fun as it could be.
and now did Joan give you guys personal feedback, or like you just submitted it via email and they just did whatever?
Just submitted it via email, and then you'd get back nothing. Actually, you'd have to watch the episode to see what got on.
Wow. So they really try to keep you guys not.
Yes.
And that makes sense. They're probably looking out for you guys just to be like,
I guess, yeah.
dude, let's fucking dive into it.
Let's dive
the
in.
mill.
Yeah. The Millie.
The Millie.
Yeah, so just for the record, we're here now at 7th and B. I live down the street at 3rd and
You
D.
don't want to say your address on a fucking
It's not an
podcast.
address, it's an intersection.
Okay.
Nobody's coming out. Well,
Yeah,
Jesus.
you're right. You're not a girl. A lot of women don't want to say where they live, but nobody gives a fuck. You're a dude.
Yeah, nobody's.
We're here in the East Village.
East Village. But I lived down the street for so long. After the Joan gig, first apartment was Chinatown.
Mm-hmm.
Tiniest shithole where you open the door and it fit just the mattress. And
This is your bedroom.
this was the bedroom, yeah.
And did you have a roommate?
I had a roommate. He was a delivery guy.
Okay, this one was like Craigslist shit.
Yeah, this was some Craigslist shit.
What was the rent?
Rent was $400 a month.
God damn.
Yeah, sweet deal. Disgusting, but very cool. Right under Manhattan Bridge. And then, at the time I was still working. I think I was still writing for the show. And then I got kicked out of that apartment.
For?
Man, it was, I got welcomed in by this guy. He immigrated here illegally. He was very cool. We would hang out. He'd take me to karaoke and all these weird little underground shitholes and a casino up in Flushing. And he was an alcoholic and a weirdo, but we got along. The lady who owned the apartment was in China at the time, and she came back and realized that there was just like a white guy living in her place, and it's an all Asian building, and they take care of their own. And she could have gotten kicked out of her apartment for doing that
Wait, why? Because she's not allowed to be renting?
to non-Asian people.
Why non-Asian people?
Because that's their rule. I don't know, man. I didn't write
That's
this.
the Chinatown rule?
Yes.
I did. Is that
This was a rule for this building and her circumstance.
interesting?
Yeah.
So you get kicked out for being white.
Yes.
Oh, how do you feel about that?
I feel oppressed. No, I mean, I would never raise a stink.
No,
And
of course,
it put
it's
this
fine.
lady who's like 70 years old, her fucking whole life in jeopardy. So
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I'm not going to.
Yeah.
So I had to leave very fast. And so I ended up moving down the street and the square footage of this place must have been like maybe 200. Tiny East Village. $800 a month. My roommate was a thespian, and he would leave for like 6 months at a time, and he would sublet the place out. Stayed there for 7 years. So over the course of 7 years, I had like 40 roommates. It's pretty much running like a youth hostel.
Yeah.
And it was not nice, man. It was a total dive.
I don't think I ever visited you there.
I would never have wanted you to. There would have been nothing to visit. You would have
Yeah.
opened a door and said, "Can we leave?"
God damn. So this mill was coming at you at a time of desperation a little bit. Like you weren't doing that well.
Yeah, I mean, well, again, just like the bubble, it's like at the time I'm living in the East Village. I got my little $800 a month apartment, and it seemed pretty sweet. And then, yeah, I mean, I guess this was all during COVID, and I got kicked out of that place because he was subletting, and then we're not allowed to sublet, but we were doing it for 7 years. Nobody cared. In COVID, everybody's home, so they started noticing some random person coming and going.
Oh, so somebody reported you.
Somebody reported, and we got kicked out.
It's amazing the things you can get away with in New York City.
Yes, I mean he was doing this long before me, so this is like 12 years of breaking
Did you
this
guys
one
get
rule.
fined or anything?
No, they told us to leave and felt like a good time to go. So at that point now, I'm like literally vagabonding around during COVID, just trying to find people. I'm staying with friends, and that's when I got hit with this.
Now, can you tell us a little bit more about, and feel free to tell how you want to, but how this came into your lap?
Yeah, effectively, this was some inheritance from a grandpa who had invested, or he'd worked and invested in the stock options, and then that paid out to me. And when it broke off, that's what I landed with. My account went from like $3,200 to like $1,003,200.
I remember when you got this, it was unexpected. Like this wasn't like, this was some random stock that you didn't. It only went up because.
But let's just say this is very classic rich people shit. Where it's like,
I didn't know I had this in my pocket.
This is not gonna happen to you. Just so you know, because I don't want you thinking that all of a sudden you're gonna wake up one day and be like, "Oh my God, $1 million." But like, this was always vaguely a possibility in my life.
Yeah.
Just knowing that there's like money
that is
around.
so funny. Like,
is
if you're
a
like a regular white guy, there's always like a 3% chance that some grandpa's gonna be like, "Oh, you guys, I invested in the railroads or something. Like I found all these bonds."
That's how it goes.
That's fucking so funny.
Hey, it's not fair. Deserve has nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And
Hey, but I was there to witness it, and I remember because you've been living like a vagabond. I remember, your banking account went to 1.3 mil, but I remember it was
that
just
day,
sitting
literally, dude. Still staying with a friend, mattress on the floor with a dresser I didn't know, and just like it was kind of like the 10 shirts deal.
Yeah. I remember you just had it in your checking account, and you're like showing me, and I remember thinking like, you're not supposed to have that much in your checking account. To be honest, I think the FDIC only insures up to $250, right?
That's great.
So if something happened, they're not gonna pay out the. So I was
Dude,
like,
do you know that I got the check and I took it to a Bank of America ATM,
and you tried to put it.
spit it out. It's like you gotta talk to somebody.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. So, okay, when you first got it, what was going through your mind? Like emotionally, where were you at?
Very much had like unstable living situations, so I desperately wanted to get housing resolved.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only focus, and that was the only thing I was taking the money and putting it towards. And I had friends and friends' parents who were like big into finance, and they literally gave me a roadmap of like, put it here, 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 here.
And you said, nah.
And I was like, what about Doge? I don't see Doge in your list of places to put my.
No, when you got this money, did your mom, like your immediate family, like really like, hey, Ryan, please don't do anything stupid with it. Please invest.
I mean, of course she did, man. And if she fucking hears this, I'm gonna get a very angry phone
You're gonna get
call.
spanked.
Yeah.
We love to do a financial spanking on this podcast, by the way.
I thought it was with love.
It is with love, but we
not
do
that kind
spank
of
you. We do spank you. We had someone on last week who is part of the FIRE movement. These are people who, have you heard of this? It's financial independence, retire early. And so these are people who retire like in their 40s, right? Retirement is 65, so anything before that is considered early. But like I would say she retired at 41, which I think is like incredibly, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So she was saying the basic math for retirement is You take your annual expenses, you multiply that by 25, and then for the rest of your life, you spend 4% of it. And the formula is that you will never run out of money because that 25, money that you had saved, it's in some sort of like investment thing, so it's going to continue to grow. And so you got, I don't know, so I did this. I don't know what your annual expenses are before the mail. I did mine the other day, so I spent about 40 a year.
Okay.
I need $1 million. So if I have $1 million, I could just retire. And so I don't know what your expenses were. I'm sure it was around 40, 50. So at 1.3, let's just say my expenses were 50. That means I need 1.25 mil. So at this point, you had 1.3 mil.
To retire for the rest of your life?
For the rest of my life. But you're living off of 4% per year, right? So what is 4%? Yeah. What is 4% of, let's say you had 1.3 mil,
you still renting?
Just listen to me.
Yeah.
Okay. So it depends on how you want to live your life.
Right.
So if in this calculation, if you had 1.3 mil and in that exact moment you decide to retire and never work again, which you don't have to, you can keep working a little bit, but if you decide to never work again, you could live for the rest of your life using $52,000 a year. Now, I don't know if you want to live that lifestyle. That's not a lot of money in New York City.
The statement I gave you is 20 grand for 1 month.
I know.
I don't know what you're like.
But this is how typically like your retirement. So you can do this. You can do this equation the other way, where like, okay, what would you like your annual salary to be? If you want it to be 100, so then you need 2.6 million, right? Which again is not that crazy of a number if you have like a regular job and shit like that. You know what I mean? And it's just I just remember like you got this money, you spent it within a year or so, and I remember thinking like, oh, you could have like just kind of semi-retired.
You know, that was, and truly, I mean, the choices I made are just so. I'll tell you, I wouldn't do it again.
But you kind of would.
No, just like such really reckless financial choices. That,
okay.
Are mistakes you only have to make once. But truly, out of straight up off that whole chunk, half of that went right into this place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So break down like where it went.
Probably more than half. I mean, half goes in an apartment.
Yeah.
Paid outright cash, no mortgage.
I looked this up on Zillow. You bought this house for $495.
That's right.
It's now worth $503. So it's appreciated by about $8,000. So you good job. You got
Thank you.
$8,000. Good job.
I see you have in your notes. Congrats.
It's appreciated by 8.4K.
All right. Wow.
So you bought this that's half. So that's half gone. Well, where did the other half go? I know you had some crypto stuff. You funded some art projects.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, for one, I mean, Jesus Christ, it is crazy. Where did it go?
and I was being facetious, but did you really spend it like in a year?
No, I spent it in many years, and in fact, I think I ran out this year. It's been 3 years.
No, but you're in debt already.
Yeah.
So that means it has to be before that.
Yeah, this past year.
Yeah. So it was like 2.5 years.
Yeah, around that. I mean, how long? When did I buy this? I bought this more than 3 years ago.
No, it wasn't 2 years. It was 2020. You bought it in
2021.
You bought it in 2021. It's only 2023.
Jesus Christ,
yeah.
time flies.
Yeah, it's like 2 years.
Okay.
Yeah. You're trying to make it sound like, I made it stretch for 3. Nah.
Oh, it felt like a long time.
So you bought the house, which is more than half. You made some bad investments on crypto.
I'm still holding.
And how much was that? Like, how much did you like invest?
If we were to say 70, it is now worth in the neighborhood of 16.
Oh, so okay. I thought you invested like 200K or something like that. 70's a lot, but that's
we get to the horrifying stock choices.
Sure.
This is a good other 120 maybe. I'd say cumulatively, it's like a good 200 out of that went to shitty investments.
Okay, so now we're down to you have 300 around 300 left.
Yeah, let's say that.
And then
all right, so let's say 30 goes into furnishing.
Right, you bought this place, and then we'll do a little maybe behind the scenes tour of this place. This place is absolutely beautiful. Ryan is an interior designer by day ish. I don't know if you want to go by that.
No, I mean like freelancing for contracting really, but interior design being one of those. Yeah, and I worked at the furniture place where they sold this couch, so I got this couch.
Right, but this couch itself was like, you said it was like $12,000.
I think 11, yeah, 11, 12.
I mean, it's the best couch I've ever seen in my life. I'll put a link in the bio if you want to buy this couch. And then I remember one of the things that you did, which some of our listeners might roll their eyes, is you wanted to find an art project, which we wanted to make a copper statue of the poop emoji. We call it the Dookie. Bronze. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
And I'm gonna edit in a picture of what it looks like. So I want you to know, like Ryan, he put away a decent amount of money to fund this project that he was really passionate about.
Yeah, that project alone before the part where it's getting cast in bronze, that cost a good maybe $5,000 to
$1,000.
Yeah, to make a mold and to get the initial materials, and none of this is including my time spent. And,
Right.
Funding a studio to work out of, all this shit.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like we kind of made you out to be like a financial idiot, but
No.
By the way, the house is
as you were telling me about, you're like, fire. You take 4% here. It literally is like a monkey with symbols.
For a second, you're like, wait, Fumi, you're telling me I could have retired?
I did for 2 years. People were like, what do you do? I was like, I'm retired.
Yeah, and I guess the rest kind of just went to like living expenses and shit like that.
Yeah.
Were there any particular like things you splurged on? Any like vices that you kind of sort of got into?
Seamless.
Right.
Seamless and Ubers. Literally, I'm pretty sure it all went to Seamless and Ubers.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, most of the guests that we have on here, if they're
I'm sure
in their
those are the
20s,
typical answers.
People just don't. We just don't grocery shop. We just don't cook at home. We're doing Ubers and Seamless. If it's in LA, it's Seamless or gas, and it's so crazy that you can inherit all this money. And I mean, I guess what you can buy with money is time.
When you break it down, really, Seamless.
You're buying time with Seamless because you don't have to cook or whatever the fuck, But I mean, so many of our guests every month, thousands of dollars into Seamless. I mean, it's such a flawless business model. It's really, really fucking insane. Young people just don't want to cook,
Yeah, well, their food's better than mine.
Yeah, I mean, did you ever feel like it was getting unhealthy? Because I know, like, when I'm on the road doing comedy and I'll eat comedy club food for 3 days in a row, like, I get fat. I feel heavier.
Well, you look huge. Yeah, no, definitely unhealthy and bad habits. Actually, yeah, when I was really splurging, my very, very delightful hobby I adopted was I would go to restaurants alone.
Okay.
And this was like kind of COVID-ish era. Outdoor just became a thing. And I would sit outside and I'd have myself a meal and I'd watch the street pass by, and it's like as happy as I could be. Really
is it like an expensive meal or just any restaurant that you like? Just
any New York restaurant is expensive.
It's kind of expensive, yeah.
Yeah.
Especially if you get a drink,
you get if you get
40,
like
50.
2 drinks, yeah.
If you get 2 drinks, absolutely.
$70 with a tip and everything.
Yeah. I want to ask you more about like.
Also, and I'm not trying to frame myself in a way, but if you knew me during this time, very good time to know me.
I remember, you bought me food at some Greek restaurant, and I tried to split it, and you laughed at me. You laughed at me.
That's
like,
great.
Fumi, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah. I had a lot of this very disgusting ego. I was paying for shit that I had no business doing. This is so bad. My mom.
You buying groceries for fucking everybody at fucking Cuties?
Yeah.
Well, so I wanted to ask you about that. Like, did people start treating you differently? Were social events like dates and stuff? How did that impact? Like, did everything change?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, no, people don't treat you any differently. Of course not. But then I'm treating you differently. I'm like, well, I'll be.
Well, because the whole like lottery thing. When you win a lottery, people fucking.
I think it was exactly that. That's exactly what I did.
No, but when you win the lottery, people move because relatives start calling, being like, "Can I have some money?" Friends being like, "Can I borrow money? Can I, can you buy me tickets to this game or whatever the fuck?" I wonder if you had any comedy friends, because we're surrounded by comedians who are poor as fuck.
Parasites,
right? They're parasites, and so I wonder like if you had anybody sort of reach out to be like, "Hey, do you want to go to dinner?" Or like, I don't know.
Right. In retrospect, I had I had completely broke friends, and I would do what I can to float their life a bit. One of them, who's a comic. I helped him film a special.
Yes, you invested in a comedy special for a fucking open micer.
Yes. Nick Crespo, shout out Nick Crespo special.
I remember that, and I rember telling you it was a bad idea. I don't know him. I'm sure he's a great guy.
He's not.
I just thought there's just so many. I mean, funding a special is very expensive, and that's
to
like
do
it for somebody who doesn't have an hour is fucking insane. But I guess like that's what I'm asking you mentally, right? Did things change? And it sounded like it has changed because you're like. You can just sort of do things on a whim now. Like, you can invest in this guy who's not even that good at comedy.
Yeah, for the record, like, I'm sure that the smart thing to do with money is whatever you said with percentages and put it into this thing and do that. And I certainly just indulged creative outlets.
No, and I'm here to say, and again, we judge with love. I'm here to say, I think it's smart to put away a little bit of money. If I had $1 million, I put away half an investment, which you did. You bought a house. This is a fucking investment. So
it's
not stupid. And I would do. I remember one time you asked me like if you had $1 million, like what art project would you work on? That's such a fun question.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I never made fun of you for the Dookie. for the poop emoji because I know that you
God.
build things with your hands. And again, listeners, I'll show you this apartment. It's incredible. He built a lot of this furniture himself, and you like doing that. It brings you a lot of joy. And so you dropping 10, 20K on the dookie. Go ahead. You can afford it. Like isn't this what life is? So the whole thing with me and my co-host is that like she's a big spender and I'm the saver, and we sort of butt heads on that. And if she were here, I think she would like really commend you because she's all about like living life. Like what's the point of having money if you're not gonna spend it?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I think I don't know if she would agree with the dookie, but I think
she'd agree with it.
To like unshame you a little bit, you know, I think that she would be very supportive of what you did with it.
You know, fact of the matter is, man, if you're just any schmo and you're 30 years old and you give somebody $1 million, odds are it's not going to go very well.
Also, can I just tell you, like, isn't this what happens to every fucking basketball player? They don't know what to do with their money,
every
right?
lottery winner.
Dude, like, I there's all these interviews of, like, when Shaq first got signed or whatever to the Lakers, like, the first thing, he bought 4 Bentleys and a house for his mom.
That's so cool.
And then I think either someone in the NBA or some businessman said to him, "You're rich, but I'm wealthy." And he was like, what does that mean? Because he doesn't know, because he's just like he grew up in a regular home.
Yeah.
His dad's in the military. Like, he didn't come with, most of these NBA guys, they don't fucking know what to do with money either, right? And so, like, it's not like their parents were fucking finance people.
I'm not looking to be absolved, and I'll tell you, not only did I know and was told and had the resource of people and finance.
Right.
Like,
you're not Shaq. You're not Shaq.
I'm not Shaq, and I am an idiot. And I want to make it abundantly clear.
You had all the resources to do the right thing with this money.
And I did the wrong thing. So I truly deserve
You're trying to own
I should be working in a coal mine.
I appreciate that.
If there's any justice.
Now the mill is gone, I want to talk about post-mill life.
Yeah, just for the record. And you were like, how long ago was it? And I'm like, like 3 years. And you're like, yeah, you're like, it's good. You spend, you live your life. I lived a lot of fucking life. It was very fun. It was very cool. I got to do. It was good. Life was really good.
You enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it so much.
You don't really like look back thinking. You don't like regret.
You know, man, and I'm going to do this angle on you. Like, and I know I have friends who have money and they save. And like, my mom is actually someone who it's like, she doesn't spend the money. She leases a car, you know, and she doesn't know how to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the people who save and the thing and the penny pinching and the making charts, you don't know how to fucking go out and blow money. Yeah, you will never. And by the way, this is going to be the rest of your life. Doesn't matter how rich or wealthy you are, you're never going to like really enjoy it and ball out and stuff. It's going to mean something different to you, you know, to do that.
I think, no, I agree with you, and I'm trying to get better about that. Like, I think we all have a range of how reckless we can be financially. Mine will never be as much as yours, but, you know.
What does like balling out look like to you?
So this is the point I'm making is, to your point, like, okay, when I moved to LA, including residuals, I was probably making like $300 a year, right? I bought.
God,
I bought
FUMI.
The car I bought.
You took a bus from the airport to here.
Yes. Well, but I don't work there anymore. I don't have a job anymore, right?
Right.
Like, now I'm making much less than that, but I'm still very happy. But at the time, the car that I bought was a used Honda Fit, 2010, and I sold it to buy a used Prius because I wanted to save more money on gas. But that's me at $300K, right? That's me making that much money that year, you know? And so, like, I always live as if I'm making $75K. Now, when I did make a lot of money, the one thing I spent a lot of money on was like shoes and clothes.
Okay.
I was just like, if I want it, I'm gonna get it.
Okay.
You know? And then I went to Hawaii like 3 times.
Cool.
So I did stuff like that.
All right.
Did I buy a house? No, it wasn't that kind of money. And like, did I do drugs and gamble? No. But like, if I wanted to do it, I did it, and that was nice.
That's,
you know, eating out. It was nice. You know, I was talking about this with I did a podcast yesterday. I was talking to like a friend of ours, Mike Coscarelli. He's a podcast producer, and we were talking about investments. But he was like, he's investing in himself. He started his own podcast network. He rented out a studio on Kent Street in Williamsburg. Cool. Very expensive real estate. He's paying about $1,000 a month.
Way to go, Cos.
And way to go. He bought he bought black magic cameras. You know, probably $15K each with the lenses.
Wow.
He bought lights, right? But it looks fucking amazing. And with this podcast too, like, yeah, you know, I got a nice camera, but like, could I rent a space and invest in something? And like, you know, I'm talking about like, we need a video producer because we can't afford you. Could I front some money and do this? Will it look better? And because it looks better, will I get more views on YouTube? Absolutely, right?
Yeah.
That because I could invest in myself. If I believe in the Cash Cuties mission, I could do it. But sometimes I'm so scared to do it, and I think that bites me. That's why it takes me longer than everybody else to like get stuff. I think I always feel like I'm always 2-3 years behind my comedian friends because I just don't believe in myself, you know, financially too. Like,
right.
Like I feel like if I invested in this podcast $20,000, right? Which it's not that much money. 20K. I have that money. If I invested that for a whole year and I said I'm gonna give it everything I got for 1 year, I think it would grow.
You'd make it back.
I'm not saying that it would be Joe Rogan big, but it would grow to be bigger than it would if I keep doing this.
Yeah. As long as I've known you, you've had a little bit of a mentality of like, I don't want to go back to my job and having to do this thing. And
Yeah.
you're very afraid that the past life that you've lived is going to come back and haunt you in some way where you have to keep doing that.
Yeah.
And actually, since you left it, I don't think you've ever gone back.
I haven't gone back. I've been very fortunate. I've had little work here and there. I'm also making money from stand-up.
You've worked. You've been working and continuing to grow and build a career.
Yes.
Which you stand on now.
Yeah, it's so crazy. I mean, I'm afraid to look at the numbers, but I think I am breaking even. I think I'm probably gonna make I said this in January when I did the pod. My goal this year was to make $5,000 a month doing comedy. That was my goal. That's about $60K, which is not that much money, but that's how much I was making when I first got my job in corporate. And I was like, if I could make that much money doing this, like just having fun, goofing
You're
off,
here.
I'm like, I'm already winning life.
You've done it.
You know, and so I'm trying to like think
You've much more
like
than that too. You've
Yeah.
exceeded your expectation.
I have. Yeah.
Why don't
yeah.
you believe in yourself, Fumi?
No, I mean, I'm starting to. It just takes me a while. You know,
Alright.
it takes me more than 10 years. But like, yeah, I mean, I'm trying to work on, it's like, so now I believe in myself, like in terms of skill,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to believe in myself financially so that I can like invest in stuff. Like, you know, like,
I need a little bit of you. You need a little bit of me.
yeah. I think that's ultimately, you know, we're both extremes.
And you know what? I having completely blown and made such horrible choices. These are choices I would not make again. And for you, you're slowly edging your way towards maybe splurging on the camera or whatever the thing is.
Yeah,
to
just investing in a studio,
reinvesting it.
whatever it is, you know. And again, I think like, so my question too is like, you said you wouldn't do it again. If you could go back in time, what would you tell 2021 Ryan, who just inherited? That Ryan on the air mattress looking at a 1.3 million in his checking account.
I would just have not done the very dumb investments in things I know nothing about.
Right.
That alone, I think I still could have been living off that money.
Right. That alone, you probably would have had an extra, 50, 70, something like that.
200. Yeah.
Bro, you could live off that for like 2 years.
More, probably.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So, okay, post-mill life, how are you doing now financially? Where are you at financially? Where are you at emotionally?
Great. I mean, the beauty of the place and really investing in the place, putting a lot of money into the place and a nice couch and a thing is I have that stability and it's nice and I get to come home to that and that changed everything. Everything truly. I didn't realize how shitty life was before until I had this and it's as good as it could be and I super, super happy, super grateful and means the world. And so back to working, bunch of different jobs and happy to be doing that.
You're in debt,
And frankly,
though.
also,
You're in debt.
I'm in debt, and who's not? But
Yeah.
you, I suppose. I will say too that there's the emotional aspect. Like, I definitely, I'm probably happier now. Yeah, and I'll tell you, I would tell people like, yeah, I'm retired now, and just like doing a lot to fill a day with the projects and the dookie and all this shit. There's like a different kind of stress to that, but. I do think that people who are working are definitely happier, right?
Dude, I know it sounds so corny, but I agree. I think when I was working on the TV show and making a lot of money, I was a little unhappy. I definitely got depressed. And then now that I'm like sort of working for myself and trying to figure it out, like I don't make nearly as much money,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of breaking even, but I feel very alive every day because I have to figure out how I'm gonna make money and finding work and like just I don't know. I always think like if I could just kind of do because I don't plan on having kids, and I'd like to buy a house, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. But like I don't have a lot of expenses really, so I'm just kind of like if I can kind of just do this until I die, I think I would die like extremely happy because I always compare this to like my dad. My dad's been working at the same company since he was 22.
How old is he now?
He's 60. He's me plus 27, so 61 maybe.
Is he planning on retiring in 4 years?
I think he's gonna do 70. It's kind of fucked up in Japanese companies. As you get older and you near retirement, they lower your salary because your
Why?
productivity goes down because you're
Oh
older.
my
Isn't that
god!
insane? But he's still loyal to the company. I'm like, you kidding me? And at any point, he could have quit, worked for an American company, made 3 times as much. Which is a lot of his Japanese colleagues did do that because they come to America as expats.
That's crazy.
And they're like, oh, we must remain loyal to these Japanese companies. But then they see their like white engineering
It's
friends.
not very capitalist to.
No, Japanese, it's capitalist, but we have a communist energy.
Yeah.
A lot of people say
Yeah.
like if the war kept going, we would have been taken over by Russia and we would become a communist country. That's like a theory. That's like a very plausible theory. But we have like just, I don't know if it's an Asian thing, but we have a communist energy to it. You know, like when you play baseball, you got to shave your head because everybody has to look alike. You know, it's a whole thing. Like even uniforms, right? That's a whole, like, that's very capitalist or communist.
I've heard about how, like, like if you're like a bus driver in Japan, you do the same route your entire life. And there's like a lot of pride in that, and you take a lot of pride in that. Whereas if you're like a bus driver here, you're probably desperately trying to.
Oh yeah, you're cursing out your customers and shit like
but
that.
Also, it's like you don't want to do this.
No,
and
if you're like a train conductor or something, you do the same route your entire life, and before you die, you write like one beautiful haiku, and it ends up on a fucking textbook. And it's like
great.
It's like a sad haiku about like routine. I swear to God, when I was in grade school, I read some haiku about like a train conductor, and they were like, "Isn't this beautiful?" I'm like, "No, this guy fucking sucks, dude." I forget what that haiku was. I remember reading it in a Japanese textbook.
Man comes on the train, guy farts, shit sucks, then you die.
Okay, let's move on to your analysis.
Yeah, please.
This is unofficial analysis. We looked at
I think that these dates are 2021.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Just
So
you know.
while I cue this up, could you just tell listeners, like, the credit card you sent me, it's not your most recent one. Tell us where it's from, when it's from, and
I
where
pulled
you
this
were.
one from just trying to give us some fun juice. Like definitely.
March 2021 to April 2021.
March and April, yeah. So
When did you get that money? Was it like January or something?
January, New Year's, January or not.
So
New
this
Year's
is like
1st.
right when you got it,
January,
right when you're learning how to spend.
3 months learning.
Yes. Yes. So like, what was life like back then? You know.
I would
feeling?
say actually at the time I wouldn't have had the apartment, so I was living on the mattress on the floor and like trying to feel better about my life than I was existing.
Mm-hmm.
So probably there's going to be purchases in here for, I don't really know when I got this place. Maybe March was. So maybe there's a lot of purchases in here for here.
Okay. Well, let's take a look.
Yeah, let's take a look.
So out of everything, all the categories, you spent the most on shopping, and a lot of it is buying stuff for this apartment, which we'll like break into. So you spent 14.8K on shopping this month. Your entire total spending was like.
How do you feel about that?
Your credit card statement was $20,000 on this credit card statement, which I've never. That's high. I don't even think that might be my limit. My limit might be like 10K, 15K actually on my credit card. So that's crazy. You got a credit card line that was allowing you to spend this much.
Yeah, I think they kept bumping it up.
Really?
I was getting emails.
What
and
credit
like,
card was this?
Yeah, it's a Bank of America.
Just a regular card.
Yeah.
You didn't even get like an MX Platinum or some shit like that.
No, thank God.
God damn. So you spent most on shopping. Then you spent $1,700 on food.
Well, FUMI, I was hungry.
$750 on hotels, which we'll get into later because you live here. It's very shady.
Yeah.
$700 on Uber, that's crazy because that's how much I was spending on Ubers in LA, and that was
for the year.
lot. And that was, yeah. I don't even know where you were going really.
Nowhere.
And
Fast.
then $300 on car rental, $300 on like health stuff.
Okay.
$200 on subscriptions, $190 on storage, $170 on gas. You don't even have a car. I don't know what that's about. Maybe that's for the rental cars. $140 on alcohol and bars, $140 on rental car. Oh, sorry, that should be the same category. What does this say?
Bills?
Oh, $120 on bills, $100 on public transportation,
Okay.
$100 on moving, $81 on insurance, $57 on pharmacy, $40 on laundry.
That's very
27 on health and fitness, $13 on shipping, $11 on parking, $10 on groceries. That's wild. $1,700 on
wild.
food, but $10 on groceries.
I'm questioning your little calculation here. That's impossible.
Well, I don't know what.
If I bought like 3 Gatorades that month, that would have been $12.
So the thing is, you spent some like you didn't go to any actual supermarkets. Like you went to a couple delis, so I don't know what you bought. So maybe some of those delis could have been groceries, but I can't. I'm looking at your fridge. This is the second time I was here. First time it was just like a bunch of White Claws and your mom's chicken cutlet. This time,
Thanks, Mom.
There's nothing. I don't know. There's nothing. There's like waters.
I have some spicy mayonnaise.
Spicy man, exactly. So I actually don't think this is that inaccurate. Maybe some of the things are miscategorized, but
10 just seems egregious. But
we'll
even
get
for
into
me,
it. We'll get into
sure.
it. So that's. I mean, first of all,
That's
before we move
wild.
on, how do you feel about what I just broke down?
How do I feel about it?
Yeah, seems accurate. Seems fair. Seems.
I mean, these charts.
I just think it's funny. You rather park your car than go grocery shopping.
a car that I don't have.
Ryan, you hungry? Let me move my car. Yeah.
This chart would look very different now, for sure.
Of course. What do you think would change now?
I mean, the shopping would be so small.
Mhm.
Groceries would be higher.
I think
would
food
say
is still probably high.
Food is still probably high. I mean, hotels would be gone. Ubers would be gone. I ride a bike and sports.
Let's see
The
what
fuck is 300 on sports?
Let's see what that is. Sometimes I get confused about. Sorry, listeners. Somebody's honking outside. Oh, you went to
I don't even want it.
Okay, so you went to Flanders Valley Golf.
This is brutal.
In New Jersey. You went golfing and you spent about $300.
That's embarrassing.
What is this?
What this is you must understand when you inherit $1 million, you have to golf. Those are part of the rules. You have to get.
It's just the law.
It's part of the law.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this became like a social thing, and a couple of friends started doing this, and it was like something outside with COVID that you could do and be around friends, and so I started. FUMI.
It's a membership. What is it? Just one time? Or?
Yeah, I took up golf.
What is it? But what is?
What this is embarrassing.
Is this a one-time fee? $288.
Yeah, this is I probably bought golf for everybody, because that's probably.
And you have your own
people.
equipment. You have your own like golf clubs and stuff. Maybe that's the 12. Maybe that's a rental. I don't really know.
Maybe I don't know. I think I.
Wow.
But I have since I don't golf anymore. I think it's embarrassing and it's an atrocity. And
that's so funny. You really blacked it out of your mind, huh? Let's move on.
Yeah.
So this is what shopping is. This is the subcategories within shopping. So
this is exciting.
$3,400 on furnishing. That's what I called it.
Okay.
That's like. We can look at the specifics here. The most expensive thing you bought there was $1,300. Design within reach, Brooklyn. Different $1,300.
That would be the base for the table.
You bought that base was $1,300.
And it was on sale.
These are like, if you live in New York City, you probably definitely seen this place. It's in Soho, right?
They're all over you.
I fucking walk by that. In any city, there's like that one furniture store you walk by and you never go in it. Because you're a regular person and you just know you can't afford anything in there, and that's what this place is. And you know what? It is expensive, but it is fucking nice. I will say that. And you dropped $3,400 on everything. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Then he's dropped $3,100 on electronics. Let's see what that's about.
Interesting.
You bought a Theragun for $650. Holy fuck! I bought one. Mine was $200.
But FUMI, look at how cool it is.
This is $650. Is it that much better than the one I have?
Yes.
You bought the product red version because you like U2, you fucking weirdo.
I liked it because it was red and it matched my lamp.
$650. And this is, guys, remember, this is during the mail. It's not about it. You don't even use it. It's dusty as hell. God damn, Ryan. That's rent for old Ryan. That's 2 months of rent for Chinatown, Ryan.
It's crazy.
And then
literally, by the way, there may be a day where I sell this for
Jesus Christ. And then you spent $2,500 on Reverb.com. It was a music store.
That is a music store.
And you don't even really play anything. You don't really play instruments. Now, for someone who doesn't play instruments, $2,500 is a lot to buy. What did you buy?
I bought that piano over there.
Okay, I gotta take pictures of all this shit.
Ask me if I play piano.
Do you play piano?
It's really none of your business. No.
It's not a piano. It's an organ, right?
Yeah, I wanted to learn and I haven't. And the other thing is, I love this. I do. If I'm here, I have friends over. I love somebody who knows how to play, plays and entertains. It's my favorite.
I want to contrast this with what I did musically. So during my, 10 years as a TV writer, I wanted to pick up guitar because I was so depressed and I wasn't hanging out with anybody.
And you're originally a musician.
I played music. I played guitar forever. I was in a band.
Yeah.
Shout out to Midnight Nice Guys. They're my band. And so I was like, I want to play guitar again. I didn't have my guitar on me because it was still in New York. So I could have bought a guitar. Again, I was making a lot. I could have bought a guitar.
Yeah.
What did I do? I call a friend who I know doesn't really play guitar anymore. And I asked him if I could just borrow his guitar. Oh, and so I went to his house.
So lonely.
And I got his amp and guitar, and it's still at my apartment.
You're like a lonely neighbor who like pets the neighbor's dog just to feel good.
Yeah, but I was that cheap. I didn't want to buy it. I was like, I don't want to buy a guitar for a hobby. Like, and again, I'm glad I didn't buy it because I don't really play anymore.
You do like $100, $200.
No, but I'm like, I need the guitar to be good, and it doesn't have to be $2,000, but it has to be like the lowest guitar I'll play is like a Mexican Strat. Let's go to the more expensive shit. 610 Maurice Condon.
Condon is my shout out to Condon. This is my lumber yard. I've been going there since I was very young.
You're the only friend who has a lumber yard, by the way.
I love it, dude. They have the good lumber. It's my favorite place in the world. It's my happy place. If I die, I want to go there. That's my heaven. And it's like a library, and you take out the planks, and you go, whew, and you see all these different beautiful pieces of wood.
And the guy says $650.
Yeah. And I move on. This This
Oh,
tape.
you bought this thing.
No, but once upon a time, this was I said $1,200 piece of wood, and they didn't want to sell it to me. It's my favorite wood, Coco Bolo, and I would always buy this wood, and the guys would always tell me like, "Hey, we have this piece in the back. You should check it out. Just look at it." And I was like, "Can I buy this?" And they were like, "No, one of our drivers reserved it." So for years, I was going back and being like, "I want it." And then one day with the Joan Rivers money, I was like, I have the money to buy this. I want to buy this today." And I went over their heads. I went to the manager and walked out with it.
Whoa! So this is the one that you wanted. This is the one you.
Yeah. It's a very
That's
coveted
right.
piece of wood for me.
I love that.
But the wood, the 6 is probably for this bookshelf that I built.
You built this. God, I really got to take a picture. It's truly incredible. And honestly, Ryan, if I become rich enough, I want to fly you out and I want you to do my fucking.
I love that. Yeah, this is African mahogany. We'll hook you up with something nice.
I love that. I love that.
Also, the side thing here is probably the same wood.
You know what's interesting? You spent a lot on clothes.
Do I?
Well, this month you spent about $800 in clothes. And
I would love to see those. I don't know.
And you actually bought pretty nice things, but it's interesting because, like, I'm not saying you dress like shit, but
I do, and I don't have nice things.
I
And
don't
where
really
are these nice
think
things?
of you as a clothing guy.
I am very unfashionable.
So this is what you spent on clothes. So
Where did
like,
I go?
So like $150 on Nike. Maybe you bought shoes. I don't know,
I
but
bought
like
shoes.
but like J Crew 260. I looked all this shit up. They're like boutique websites. So
Okay, so this is what started.
Paula G, Aureen,
This is what started happening.
Vinkenvielen.
When I got this money and I started spending shit, Instagram started targeting me. I could also go around this apartment and just point so much Instagram bullshit. Apology. This was an Instagram shirt.
Oh, but I mean it was shit, right?
Yeah.
You know what? I'm not gonna blame you for that because there was a brief moment when Instagram ads were kind of new and really effective when like
think they still
every
are.
comedian had a joke about some stupid shit they bought on Instagram. I
Yeah.
bought some shit off of Instagram. The pants I got were actually kind of cool, but yeah, I mean, I don't blame you.
I don't know why, but at the time I had no clothes, and so I was getting clothes, but like Instagram effectively dressed me head to toe.
No, I totally, yeah. So that's why, like, it's funny because like these brands, I Googled it and they weren't like, they didn't look really nice. They just kind of look like kind of fake companies. A lot of those places are actually getting sued because they're selling such shitty material.
Yeah, I'm
They're
sure.
lying to their people or whatever.
Yeah.
Some stuff from Nike. I think you actually got scammed here because you paid Nike $54.68 on the same date twice, one through PayPal, one through their website. So I'm not really sure what happened here. I don't know if you got this money back or not.
I'll never see that again.
Okay. Now, I did see a shady charge here. You spent $68 at a clothing store called XIOS 24 Brooklyn. Now, I Googled this place. And now,
I think I know what this is.
let me get into it, okay?
All right.
If you live in New York City and you're walking around Brooklyn, you know that there's always like little clothing shops that are like, I don't know how to describe this. I don't know if you watch the TV show This Fool. It's where Frankie gets a job in season 2. It's like a clothing store that sells suits, but in your head you're thinking, who the fuck would go in there? Like this looks like shitty suits. And here are some pictures
It's
of.
almost like a knockoff Marshalls kind of vibe.
This is Cios. Okay, it's
I remember walking in there.
now. I don't think I have any friends who would shop at a place like this. No, it's shady. Okay, $68. It's shady, Ryan. What were you doing in there?
None of your business.
What were you doing in here?
That place is by my studio out in Sunset Park, and I needed when I'm working with stuff, especially with wood, it destroys everything you wear. So I would have had to buy.
And got a fit for a suit.
No, I don't think they're suits. They
Just like
had
regular-
they had some college. I went in there to get shirts, just like
T-shirts for $8. That's pretty good.
throwaway shirts, and then they had these fun little printed button downs that I got,
Okay.
and I still have and still wear, and they're very nice.
Okay, that's fine. Hey, no judgment on these stores. I just always thought that, again, I don't really know, but sometimes they do look like drug fronts, especially the ones in Manhattan. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And, like, people say that they are.
I
so.
do wish that I had more of a fashion sense. I wish that I blew more money on cool clothes that made me look cool and made me feel happy.
And then, you spent $360 on soap
Oh, this is a good
at
one.
Lush. And again, you don't
This is-
smell bad, but you're not a soap guy.
This is a balling out move.
Look at what happened.
I was like, I want to wash myself with nice products. Lush is just all I know. So I went there and I just got like my conditioners for like the year. And
For the year?
yeah,
Who buys conditioner for the year?
I wanted to try all the flavors.
That's who buys conditioner in bulk. This is hilarious.
They have so many flavors.
This is so fucking funny,
The
dude.
hilarious and tragic part is that because they make their products from organic materials,
They expire.
So at some
But you
point,
didn't know that.
I used like a shampoo and a half, and then I looked and like the rest were expired, and I was like, oh,
Is it starting to smell funky?
yeah, something like that.
Oh my god! It's so funny now. Look in your thing, and you're using like Harry's, like shit you buy at Target.
Harry's
You have like
is
a
very good.
Korean thing.
I like Harry's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They sponsored me once.
Really?
Yep. And then
The
they almost
sh-
did I tell you
shave.
about the shaving thing?
No.
I did a sponsored content for them, and they wanted to make a funny video of me like shaving and saying something funny, so I did that. It was like the bit was like I'm preparing for my first day after the pandemic, so I'm awkward, so I'm rehearsing lines into the mirror.
Oh, okay.
So I'm shaving. While I'm shaving, I cut myself because I don't have facial hair really. So I thought it was funny. So I put it on Instagram stories being like, I'm making like a SpawnCon for a shaving company, and I'm like, I cut myself or something. I was like, haha, like I don't have facial hair. Why are they hiring me? They saw that and they thought I was disparaging their brand.
Oh.
So this deal was $10,000.
What?
And they took it away from me. But then they came back 2 months later and they paid me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
Because I already made
because
the
you cut
video
yourself
for-
shaving.
No, it's because I posted that. They thought I was
Right.
disparaging the brand, which I kind of understand.
All right.
Shout out to Harry's.
The hotels.
Yeah. So what's going on? I mean, you live here, right?
Yeah, I do. At the time, I had such a shitty living situation, and was dating a real nightmare. And I would get us hotel rooms on occasion.
Oh, to go back.
And also, I think there was literally one night where like my living situation was such shit. It was like 5 guys in a bed-stuy below a family of 15 who wore clogs and played with marbles on hardwood floor, and like I needed to.
I remember this.
Yeah.
You did something to that neighbor.
No, my roommate did.
Oh, your roommate did. How much do you typically spend on hotels? Because I'm in this range of like 150 to 200.
I think a decent hotel in New York is probably
Over 200.
Probably.
Yeah.
But you could get away with like 100 or something. I remember this one night I just like had to get out of the house, and I found like a Holiday Inn in downtown Brooklyn for like $100.
Can I ask you
Yeah.
a dating question?
Sure.
I don't know how. I mean, you live in New York and have your own place, so you probably don't do this anymore.
Mhm.
But I know in the past, like you have, met somebody at a bar or something, and you want to go home, but you're embarrassed to bring it back to your place, so you suggest you get a hotel. I don't know how often you've done that.
I did that one time.
Oh, just one time?
Yeah.
The old lady?
Totally worth it.
Well, I guess
Totally worth it.
I guess I wanted to ask you. I don't know if you have an answer for this because you only did it one time. But if you have done that, I wanted to ask you, when you're bringing a girl home and you're like, "Let's get a hotel, baby," and then you open the hotel app. Do you think about the price and you're like, "Is she gonna think I'm cheap if I go to like a certain hotel?"
Right.
Like, you know what I mean?
First off, I don't like your. Do you want to get a hotel, baby? It's more like I'm imagining my apartment and like the shithole fly infested nightmare that it is, and it's like a pretty person. I'm just like, I can't. This is never.
Oh yeah, it's not really.
It's gonna
an
be one of
option
those
for
like
you.
it's gonna feel like Taken, where it's like she opens the door and it's like, oh no.
Yeah. It's like Serbian 1980s over there. Yeah.
So like that this one occasion that you were discussing, I remember she was like an older person, and I felt
You can do your joke.
Yeah, she was an old lady.
Do it to the fans.
She's an old lady. She's an old bag of bones. And in the morning, we're walking around. A car drove by. I was blasting Jay-Z, and she was like, "Oh my God! When I was in college, this was the song." And I was looking at her like, "Are you sure it wasn't?" My friends come out of the bushes. They're the trumpet section.
Hey, I love that joke.
But that lady.
yeah. So did she pay for it? Or did you pay for it?
I paid for it. It was a shitty-esque hotel, kind of in Soho, but like not nice. These exist all over New York. Just like
I know,
random
but I'm
weird
just.
hotel.
I wonder if there's a part of you that's like, oh, I don't want her to think I'm stingy, so I'm gonna overcompensate and get like a really nice hotel. I'm gonna take her to the Ritz Carlton.
Yeah.
280 is a good amount to spend on a hotel.
Yeah.
What do millionaires eat? So I did a little breakdown of your diet here, and I just want. It's interesting. Where'd it go? So I could just make this a little bit bigger. So this is sort of like.
This is also gross. This term, this whole millionaire thing. It's like.
It's not gross.
Well, I became a non-millionaire as soon as I had it.
know.
Immediately went below $1 million, and then blew through that, and then.
This is why
it's
we're
so gone.
Yeah, I mean, when you got it, I knew there's no like. You ever watch Doctor Strange?
Yeah.
He didn't know this thing.
Yeah.
There's no universe where that wasn't gone within a year. He's like, I've done all the calculations, and they all end up with Ryan blowing it on coke in 2 years.
No drugs, truly. This is not a drug.
Yeah. You're blowing it on fucking marble tables. Okay, so this is what you ate. So.
Wow, I can't believe you could do this.
57% of your food purchases were online food orders. This is DoorDash and Seamless. 57%.
Okay.
So that's very, very high. 15% were delis.
Okay.
You know what's so funny? When I do this, I typically do it by cuisine, but I can't do it with like DoorDash because it doesn't tell me where you bought it
It's
from.
a shame. Be very
But
interesting.
it's funny because usually I can still do it by cuisine because people still eat at regular restaurants. But so it was online food order, delis, salads. It was like sweet green. So it's funny because you didn't really go to restaurants that often. More than 75% of your food purchases are non-restaurants, and I thought that was kind of fascinating. Now this is by some people might say this
2021. This would have been restaurants were like not.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah, this could have literally been before they established outdoor dining kind of thing.
Or they were, but it was like kind of limited, and people still weren't comfortable doing it. See, this is why graphs are cool, guys. It's a look into a time. You know,
Shout out the graphs.
Shout out the graphs. 5.9% Vietnamese, 5.3% Mexican, 3.7% juice, 3% bagels, 2% coffee. Interesting. I thought you would have more like Chinese food or some shit. I mean, I love Vietnamese food. It's actually my favorite.
I would love to see this 57. What that was?
I know, but I would have to look at your DoorDash account.
47% empanadas.
Really?
I like empanadas.
Now this is kind of interesting. You don't eat a lot of Asian food.
What is this? Some sort of what is the Vietnamese? Is a huge chunk there.
5.9%.
Yeah.
No, but it's okay that you don't. I just I feel like a lot of people eat Asian food because it's like around.
Well, I'm thinking like you got like first off, Chinese food is you can't do that, right? What are you gonna do? Dumplings?
I mean, you can't.
Noodles?
What do you mean you can't do that?
It's like heavy.
Well, I mean, if you're hungry, you can go to a restaurant. You know what I mean? I don't know. I like Chinese food.
What would you get at a Chinese restaurant?
I get like rice and different kinds of meats and like mapo tofu and stuff.
Okay.
And I'll get soup dumplings.
Mapo tofu is heavy.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't like heavy stuff? Is that what it is?
I do, but it's like that's not.
You're the guy who's ordering off a Seamless 60% of the time. Like I know you're getting empanadas are heavy as fuck. It's fucking fried dough, bro.
Well, look at the salad over there. And then you got like ramen is very salty and.
So you just don't like heavy foods in general?
No, I certainly do, and depending on the mood, but.
I mean, you don't even have Italian on here, and you're fucking Italian.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I just thought it was. I just feel like Asian and Italian it always makes up a big portion of people's pie chart, just because it's common.
Damn, I so wish that there was a way to break that down from the seamless because that is the big chunk of the pie, and like what foods were they? What truly were they? Honestly, and this is very bad and disgusting, but when I got that money, I would seamless nice places.
Oh,
like I don't know if
they were doing that back then.
Yeah, I don't even know if you're aware of this, but like there's like Michelin star New York restaurants that will send their Michelin food delivered in plastic containers,
and it's like for like $90.
Yeah, so you're like sitting on a floor mattress eating like a
filet mignon.
Yeah,
God damn,
it's horrible.
I love that.
It's not the way it was meant to be.
Okay, and then yes, suspicious charges. You spent $36,000 OnlyFans. Give me names, bitch.
Names. Let's see.
Names. Okay, so one was for $17.99. One was for $14.99. I thought this was funny if it charged for $3, and I was like, oh, this guy fucking tipped. I love that.
You got a tip.
I love that.
Names. I don't. I could look back. There's gonna be a Sophia Beverly. Shout out to her.
No, is she a porn star or is she like a
No,
OnlyFans?
I think she's like a model.
I don't think I know who that is.
I don't even.
Now,
I don't even think she would get naked on the OnlyFans. I don't know what this is about.
How did you find OnlyFans back in the day? Because this one okay, first of all, she's fucking smoking. Holy shit. I have to put this away now.
Fumi needs a second.
This is when OnlyFans was popping. This is when some of her friends were doing OnlyFans. I'm guilty of signing up for my friends' OnlyFans. Some comedian friends were doing it. And I was like, I want to.
I've done that
maybe
too.
see them, but they always disappointed me because they never showed anything.
Yeah,
they would charge extra for stuff, and I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't like you that much.
And then you pay the extra, and they still don't show.
Well, I never went that far because I'm Prius Fumi.
Right.
Yeah. I'm Honda Fit.
I have to borrow your OnlyFans.
Yeah. I'm the guy be like Netflix,
Can I get your
bro.
account?
Can I use your account, man? I'm feeling kind of horny right now.
That's so sad.
That's so funny. I'm gonna write that down. That's a joke right there. God damn. Yeah. I mean, I don't do OnlyFans anymore. I don't know if you still do it, but
This would be like a just kind of blowing money on indulgent things for sure.
it's easy. You're on Instagram. You see a hot girl. You see she's got OnlyFans. You're like, why not? You're a millionaire. Why not?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. How come you don't subscribe to my Patreon, dude? Who's this? Who's this?
What section of the pot is this?
This is you subscribe to a Patreon.
Yeah.
$5, $10, $28, all in like kind of 1 month. What is this?
It's going to be a Tuesdays with Stories.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a Are You Garbage? It's going to be a Tim Dillon. And
Now,
a
let me ask you
and a Come
something.
Town.
And let me ask you something. As somebody who has a Patreon, I'm always trying to up my thing. What does it take for someone like you to subscribe to a Patreon? What are you getting that you really like? So I can give it to my fans. Is it bonus? What is it? What are they doing on there? Or is it just more like you just wanted to support?
It's it's going to be a product that I love and consume on a weekly basis.
Right, but that's the
And
regular
that
podcast.
number is actually very small. Of like on a weekly basis, the ones I'm listening to it's that 4 or 5.
Wait. Are you talking about bonus content? I'm asking you, what are they offering for $5, $10, $28?
Yeah,
that you're
but they're offering another episode
a week.
Yeah.
Okay, and you listen and you like listening to it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And $20 is pretty pricey for.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I
Maybe
don't know.
you
I
bought a
don't know
t-shirt or
what. I
something.
don't know what that could be. Probably not. I feel like that's got to be a couple mixed together, or no?
So all these guys have just a bunch of bonus episodes that you just want to.
Yeah, I'm
listen
not
to
subscribing to anybody for $28.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we have a Patreon, okay, and we also have bonus episodes. So if you want, we don't do it weekly. It's more like bi-weekly, twice a month, maybe.
Maybe you should make it weekly for me.
I know, but it's tough.
Maybe your fans will love. Well, it's tough. Well, guys, it's tough. So. You literally just asked. You're like, what can I do for my fans? But guys, I'm tired. What?
What do you fucking talk about after you do an hour? Steph and I always talk about it. We're like, sometimes we have something to talk about. Sometimes it's like, what? I'm like, all those guys who release like multiple bonus episodes. Like, what the fuck are you? Aren't you out of things to talk about?
Shout out to them. No, they're not.
But I think those guys are like best friends, and they're just not even talking about anything anymore. They're just like,
I'm in it for the chemistry. That's
like if I had a bonus episode with you after this. I would just talk to you about like, why is your toilet, like, how do you poop in that toilet because it's so fucking small? Like, I would just do a whole bonus about, you know what I mean?
Plant my ass in the seat.
Just shit like that, right? We would just have a whole episode about why I can't fit in your tiny ass toilet.
Fumi explains finances to me. I explain shitting to you. These are our various specialties.
Well, again, New York apartments are very small, okay, and his toilet's very small. It looks, it's so tiny. It almost
it's a standard size toilet.
It looks like a toilet from that. I think you should leave sketch where the toilet hole is really small. Have you seen that one?
I shit in a thimble.
That's what it looks like. So this was your top food purchases, sorted by price. Now, it's interesting because I know you love women, and I know you like to go on a lot of dates, but this is your top spendings, and I thought it was interesting because your top was Hanoi House. It's Vietnamese. Thank you for supporting Asian cuisine. $105, maybe that was I don't really know, but everything else is like, dude, seamless $90, seamless $85, seamless $60, caviar also a competitive seamless $50. So I'm like, you're not going on any dates during this time, and I thought that was kind of interesting.
I was definitely it was first off, it's COVID, so times are tricky on that front. At that point, I don't think I'd ever even been in a dating app, so it was very hard to meet people when nobody's outside.
Right? Why weren't you on an app?
I gravitated towards these apps
after
literally in the past year and a half.
So I remember you were that guy who didn't have a smartphone for the longest time.
Yeah,
so
I did that.
Okay.
And then during COVID, I was seeing a problematic person and.
Oh, you had a girlfriend.
No, not quite,
but seeing somebody kind of
consistently.
And you never took her out?
Yeah, I got her hotels and stuff, and she's more of a drinker than an eater. But Hanoi House was I took a friend Paul for dinner. I remember that meal. It was good. It's right down the street.
Okay. I'm getting hungry. I might go down there after this.
Yeah.
You know what? This is interesting. I keep forgetting about the COVID thing. I wonder if COVID. I was gonna say because people weren't going on dates and eating out. I'm like, I wonder if COVID saved money. But I'm looking at your seamless, and I'm like, I think it actually didn't save money.
Well, COVID pushed a lot of money around in weird ways for a lot of people. I mean, I'm not the only person I know during COVID that walked away with some money.
Of course, people invested in all those tech companies and shit.
Yeah, and the stock market was doing crazy things then.
Yeah. And then after that was like the weird like GameStop shit.
Right.
Which I'm sure you got your hands on and completely failed. It's okay. Steffi did that as well. She showed me her Robinhood account last week, and it was like all GameStop and Nokia.
If I were to show you my Robinhood account, you would literally weep.
Yeah. God damn. So I don't know. In conclusion, like I don't know. What was your take from just the entire experience, having this experience? You know.
Definitely just shame and the idea that I just feel bad for my mom and my poor grandpa.
I'm dying.
Turning over in his grave at such a rate that we should plug turbines into him and power my apartment.
Right.
Yeah.
Because this all was because you're a grandpa.
Yeah. Very hardworking man.
Yeah.
Apparently that's not generic.
Hey. Well, you heard it here first, guys. You know, if you get $1 million, don't try not to embarrass your mommy, okay? Because that's an easy thing. Hey, that's it for the pod. Ryan, thank you so much for coming on, man. This was so much fun.
Thank you for having me, fool.
This is so natural. I love doing pods with like close friends because like, man, it just flows. It fucking flows,
it's
bro.
A joy.
You don't have no idea how awkward it is doing podcasts with people you don't fucking know, bro.
Especially digging through their most personal shit.
Just the laws of editing like a motherfucker, you know?
I remember you telling me this idea when you had it.
Yeah.
You were trying to come up for a name for it, and I thought and still think this is a great idea, great little insights into people's lives.
I love it.
It is so wildly personal.
It's so personal, and I hope that it's something that people can enjoy, even if I don't have like Mark Maron on the podcast. You know, like I was trying to think of like how can I make this pop without having.
It'd be very cool to get a huge guest who has
a
big Amex bill, dude.
Well, this actually made me think of an idea where it's like, okay, let's say I had like someone like if let's just say I had Louis C.K. on, right? Instead of being like, what are you spending now? I would love to see his expenses from when he wasn't making it. So show me that credit card statement from 2005 when you weren't shit. You know, or maybe he was kind of making it. Maybe he's not a good example, but like Randall Park before. Fresh off the boat, right? Like, what the fuck? He was doing little things here and there. Like, what was he? Aquafina before, all the movie, like that kind of shit.
I would love to see
they would share that. I think
there's like a month where they get the check and it's like this month and then this month.
Yes.
It'd be killer.
Like when they were barely making it. Because I'm like, that's a fun way. So thank you for inspiring that idea. Yes, before we wrap up this episode, shout out to our sound engineer Domagoj Ivanchik, all the way out in Croatia. Matthias Robles and our analyst Holly Sandler. We have an analyst, by the way, who does like a lot of that. She didn't do it this week because I didn't have time, but she does all the Excel stuff for us. She's very nice and very smart.
That's awesome. Way to go, team.
And she is in the Marines, so shout out to our troops.
Badass.
Thank you so much. We want to hear about your spending habits. Email us at cashcutiespodcast@gmail.com and tell us what financial topics you like to hear about. And also send us a voice memo about a financial bind that you're in, and we'll do like a Q&A on this podcast, sort of like a mailbox segment that we do sometimes, or mailbag segment. I think that's it. Please follow us on all the socials at Cash Cuties Pod. You can also find us. You can find me on there at the FUMI Abe. That's THEFUMIABE. Do you want to plug anything?
Yeah, my Instagram at Ryan Delight, and keep an eye out for my Dookie and check out Mr. Pants on AGT.
Hell yeah. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. And until then, spend your money wisely, or as Steffi would say, have fun. Bye.